Hello, I'm Justin Femright, the Public Works Director and Chief Engineer for the City of Elk River. Today I'd like to step you through the current plans for the 169 Redefine project through Elk River. As you may likely know, MnDOT, Minnesota Department of Transportation, is expecting to convert Highway 169 to a freeway through Elk River by removing all 5 stoplights from the Mississippi River on the south end here, just south of Highway 10, all the way north through 197th Avenue. Design is in the final stages in the review process, with construction slated to begin in 2022. Now let's take a little closer look at the entire corridor. Starting on the south end here at the Mississippi River, shown on the screen is the current systems interchange. Shown in colors, generally yellow, orange, and red, are the improvements that are going to be completed as part of this project. So some work down here at the systems interchange, really in an effort to remove this first stoplight that exists on Trunk Highway 101, 169 northbound. Right as you came north across the Mississippi River, this first stoplight that you come to that allows current day westbound Highway 10 movement to come to the signalized location, turn, and go southbound 101. So it's removing that conflict point from up here on the highway to eliminate that stoplight. And to serve that movement, it's actually going to keep westbound 10 movements underneath Highway 101, the Highway 101 bridge here, and put them into a left turn lane along Highway 10 over in this location, where they would receive a stoplight and wait for opposing traffic to receive a red before entering this current on-ramp. So the current on-ramp for eastbound 10 to southbound 101 is facilitated right here. This westbound 10 to southbound 101 would be put onto the same ramp in this location. That's the main geometric change and functionality change that's going to be supported at the systems interchange itself. You'll see some other colors on here. Some of this is to shift main line over. There's a bridge replacement that will be part of the project, as well as some auxiliary lanes that are going to be added. And I'll talk a little bit more to what auxiliary lanes are at this time, and you'll hear me come back to those throughout the stepping up the corridor, because it's a consistent element that happens and is going to be incorporated along the corridor. Starting with just actually on the south side of the Mississippi River. If you're leaving Elk River right now, you're on the on-ramp to get on 101 southbound, and you wanted to get off at that first ramp in Otsego at County Road 39, you're forced into one of those 2 through lanes of traffic. An auxiliary lane essentially adds that third lane of traffic from the end of the on-ramp to the end of, or the beginning of the corresponding off-ramp. So providing 3 lanes through this segment, through an auxiliary lane, that would allow for those users who are getting on and getting off right away to not have to navigate and weave into the 2 through lanes of traffic. So that's an element that will be added on the south side of the river. Correspondingly, as you come north across the bridge into Elk River, current day, there's 3 lanes right now. There is that auxiliary lane that drops off to this first off-ramp. With the project, that auxiliary lane will carry through all the way to this loop that takes 101 northbound traffic to westbound Trunk Highway 10, so carrying that auxiliary lane across this replaced bridge and terminating it here at this off-ramp to head westbound on Highway 10. Similarly, the off-ramp, current day off-ramp for westbound Highway 10 to northbound 169 traffic comes in this location. It will again be facilitated in the same location. A few geometric changes just to improve traffic flow, but it coming onto 169 at the location of the railroad bridge and staying in, or allowed to stay in, that auxiliary lane, a similar concept where we're going to carry a third lane all the way through and up to the ramp head that would exit and allow motorists to exit at Main Street. So imagine coming on from westbound Highway 10 to northbound 169, not having to get out in those two through traffic lanes. You could stay in that auxiliary lane if your ultimate destination was to get off or exit at Main Street. Similarly, going southbound 169, if you got on at Main Street, you could stay in an auxiliary lane that would follow through and carry all the way through to the off-ramp that would take you to westbound 10. So auxiliary lanes in both directions through this section of Highway 169. As you approach Main Street, Highway 169 will go over the top with Main Street depressed slightly. And then you can see touchdown points of Main Street here at Carson on the west side, as well as just past Line Avenue, the first corresponding signalized intersection over on the east side. Full access being maintained with Line Avenue connected here, with separate city improvements to disconnect line up here with some projects that the city and county are working on together, but functionality down here at Main Street keeps Line Avenue connected. As we move up the corridor, on-off ramps at Main Street getting onto the highway, auxiliary lanes that will connect through to the next ramp heads at School Street. You will notice in this location the current day right in, right out access to 5th Street goes away with the proposed project. Moving up to School Street, again, a full access interchange, this time with Highway 169 actually being lowered and School Street being carried over the top of 169 in a single point interchange concept. Touchdown points for improvements you can see on the west side is over by near Freeport and touching down at that intersection, looking at some revisions to the signalized intersection there, as well as over here on Dodge and Elk Hills Drive, you can see the touchdown points for tying in the grades and making sure that there's good transitions to the local system over on the east side. Continuing north, this is the location of the existing pedestrian bridge. Initial concepts had called for the removal of said pedestrian bridge. The team has worked here over the last number of months to adjust the grades on the mainline highway so that existing pedestrian bridge will remain after the project. As we work our way up to our intersection at 193rd, mainline highway, again, from these ramp heads on each side will be connected with auxiliary lanes. With that existing right in, right out of 190th lane, similar to 5th Street down here on the south side of School Street, being closed as a result of the project. Up to 193rd with another full access interchange. This time with 169 again being over the top, similar at Main Street, with 193rd depressed and being served underneath the mainline highway. Full access interchange, touchdown points about a block and a half away on the east side, and about a block away on Jackson and Holt over on the west side. As we carry north, to 197th, you'll see here what's called a half diamond interchange, and it consists of an off ramp for southbound Highway 169 to get onto 197th, as well as an on ramp for 197th traffic to get onto the mainline highway. It does not include corresponding on-off ramps on the south side of 197th here for a couple reasons. One being the traffic volumes and demands themselves don't necessarily constitute that, and two, geometrically, those ramps would extend out to about this location, being very in close proximity to the off-ramp and on-ramp for the 193rd Avenue interchange. So it really puts access spacing too close together. Those are the main access changes and components to these interchanges for the project. And you can see that the termini and the limits of the construction project are just north of 197th here, south of that next interchange of County Road 33. So touching down here and marking the north limits of the project. You can visit our website at elkrivermn.gov/169redefine for more information or to give comments on the proposed layouts. A copy of the layout is also there for you to review in more detail. Thank you.